Our mission is to empower healers and coaches to have more impact and income. Your host is Catherine O'Leary, the Quiz Queen. She has another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Catherine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to track 2, which is honestly the better track because, we're here. So I'm glad that you could join us here. I have the amazing Johann Callaghan in the house today with me. So Johann is a certified sleep science coach and health coach. She's an international best-selling author. She is one of the people in the Mission Accepted book with myself and Deb Drummond and others. She's been featured in media, TV, radio, podcasts, newspapers, and magazines. And she's the founder of the Sleep Success Method and uses her methodology to help women professionals, coaches, and entrepreneurs go from overwhelmed, stressed, and exhausted to focused, productive, and energized with better sleep and rest. Joanne, welcome to Track 2 and the Wealthy Healers Conference. How are you?
Hey, Catherine, I am amazing. I am so pumped up. You know what? I probably won't be able to sleep tonight after this.
Well, we wanted to get right into boosting your energy and the 3 sleep strategies for entrepreneurial success. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and your 3 sleep strategies.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you first of all why I'm on this journey, because it's always interesting, isn't it? Especially entrepreneurs, coaches, how they came to do the work that we're doing. And I suppose I have a history over my whole lifetime of not sleeping well and having the consequences of that, from an early age. My dad drank quite an awful lot, so there was many late nights. I was going into school exhausted, and then fast forward, I start working, and I used to often could be found in the toilets, literally in the toilets. I'd pull the seat down, I'd put my head against the wall for a little cat nap. I was so tired, I was so run down, so burnt out. It was just chaotic, monotonous. And then when I got married, my husband had sleep apnea. We found out by accident. And it was so funny at the time because I didn't know what sleep apnea was. We just happened to come across it by accident. We were in the hospital room and the doctor asked my husband, "How do you sleep?" And he said, "Fine." And I said, I got really triggered. I says, "Well, maybe you sleep fine, but I don't." And and it was just such a journey of sleepless nights. I lost my daughter as well. My daughter died. That was very sad, grief, all that sort of stuff. So look, I had my experience of not being able to sleep and the consequences of that: depression, anxiety, always getting colds and flus, run down. My relationships were terrible. My mood, it was just awful. I had no quality of life and I just had no energy. So I wrote a book on sleep after I found a mentor, and I started running my business all on holistic health because I took an interest in looking after myself. And my coach had me write a book, and I wrote a book about sleep. And that's when I found out so much more about sleep, because I did a lot of research. I really wanted to get really down on the research. What I found, Catherine, in writing that book was like, oh my God, everybody has to embrace sleep and rest and really utilize that as a tool for our well-being, for our productivity and performance, our relationships, our health. And that's what I'm doing today. And I love nothing more than helping people to get a good night's sleep, really value their rest so that they can have more and achieve more in life, have better relationships. And look, it's the greatest asset that we have.
And I don't know that there's enough importance put on like a really good night's sleep. Like it's something that people tend to be the first thing that they like kind of give up. Like, oh, I have to fly tomorrow, but I'm still gonna stay up and you know work or watch that movie or do whatever. And it's a big deal to actually prioritize your sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's probably one of the biggest challenges that entrepreneurs, coaches, healers have, because we're wearing many hats, and maybe you're a parent in that mix as well, So like me, like yesterday, I was posting something on Facebook about the conference, right? While I was making the dinner. So like we're multitasking all the time, And but yeah, I think really we need to start to become aware though, and create a new relationship with sleep. because it's really, you know, when we talk about relationships, we think of, you know, having relationships with people, but it's relating to everything in our lives, including sleep. So, you know, how are people, I'll ask the audience, how do you relate to sleep? Do you like sleep? Is it something that's a pain in the neck? I mean, I was talking to somebody last week, very, very successful entrepreneur, and they told me, Joanne, I don't like sleep. Whoever invented sleep, I'll murder them, because I could get more done if I didn't, you know, if I didn't have to go to sleep. But yet this person gets very forgetful, you know, makes it feel, gets that afternoon slump, you know, these common things when we're sleep deprived. So, you know, it's really, really interesting how we relate to sleep, and if it's something that we value, because when we value something, then we're going to prioritize it. So it's really all about creating that new relationship with sleep and rest as well. Like rest and sleep are two. We need rest to sleep, believe it or not, because we need energy to sleep. That's something an awful lot of people don't consider. We need to be restful because we need energy to sleep at nighttime, because there's so much going on in our body at nighttime when we're sleeping. It's just incredible, like how our body helps us heal, and our brain health and everything. But yeah, I've 3 tips, Catherine, that I can go through and help entrepreneurs and healers on this call, you know, if they want to perform better, have better relationships. And I think every entrepreneur coach, we need that, you know.
I mean, the 3 tips, I'm looking forward to the 3 tips because I can sleep like it's an Olympic sport. So, I mean, I'm like a gold medalist. I can sleep almost anywhere. And I think it's because when I was younger in corporate, I traveled quite a bit and different time zones and different, hotel rooms and, all the rest of it. Like you start to get to a point where you grab sleep wherever you can because it's so interrupted, which
Yeah.
is not a good way to do it. But yeah, I would love to hear the 3 tips because I think that the more that entrepreneurs understand how much really does go on when you are sleeping, that your subconscious is going into overdrive. You have, a lot of problem solving that can be happening at that time. And if you have, a good restful, like deep sleep, that you can actually get a lot done, which sounds counterintuitive, but actually it's not. And I think, yeah, let's go through your 3 tips.
Yes, all right. Oh my God. You know, I could talk about this topic for a very long time, but you're so right. That's mental rehearsal that you're talking about, you know, and the subconscious and what have you. And that's a whole other topic, but you're so right. We can use that at night when we sleep. But let's get into the 3 tips, and maybe I'll bring some of that in there. So entrepreneurs, and I heard Kimberly saying this yesterday. She said entrepreneurs, consistency is not something that entrepreneurs practice very often. We're not very good at it, right? Entrepreneurs. And the key to sleep and productivity and all of this is consistency. So it's all about creating new habits, right? And getting into those good practices that will help to reinforce. And because look, we are creatures of rhythm, right? We are creatures of rhythm. We've evolved for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right? The sun came up, that's when we got up. When the sun went down, it got dark, that's when we went to bed. We have lived this way and evolved this way for thousands of years, and this is hardwired into us, right? So any kind of shift work, night work, we'll never be able to adapt to that fully. In fact, shift work is not good for us because we're not designed for that. So 3 of the things, right? The very first thing is your morning routine, right? So your sleep starts first thing in the morning, believe it or not, right? It sounds a bit strange, but how you live your day will depend on how well you sleep at nighttime. So your morning routine is absolutely key to starting off your day. And your circadian rhythm, actually, you can reset your circadian rhythm first thing in the morning. This is why we need to get sunlight or daylight, whatever part of the world you live in, right? If I say sunshine here in Ireland, people say, we don't have sunshine here. So daylight, whatever, light. We need to get that first thing in the morning to reset our circadian rhythm. That is super, super important. Now, what you do in the first hour of the morning is really important, because who is it? I think it was Rachel that said yesterday, energy. It's our energy that creates, what unfolds for us, and how we feel and how we think and believe and our actions and all of that. So our energy is really important, that we get our energy right first thing in the morning. Now, I have a golden hour first thing in the morning. What does that mean? Right. Well, my golden hour is for me and nobody else. Right. So I do not go near this thing here first thing in the morning. It doesn't even get switched on. So don't even try and ring me first thing in the morning, because I won't answer the phone. Because ultimately what we're doing, what most people do, is they reach for their phone first thing in the morning. Before they've even said good morning to their significant other or kids, they're on the phone straight away. That's the first big mistake that people make. And what we're doing there is we're giving our power over to other people, other people's emails, messages, whatever. So if you think about it, we're actually giving away our power to these other people. So we're spending energy already, right, before we've even started our day. So having a morning routine, and whatever that looks like for you, it could be a meditation, it could be a little walk, it could be listening to something on YouTube, like something positive. It could be journaling, it could be setting your intentions for the day. And actually setting your intentions for the day is a great way to start your day. Now, I could talk about morning routine for a long time, but I think you get the gist. So that's the first thing, is your morning routine, right? The second thing that's really important. So let's go through the day, right? So in the afternoon, so we're busy entrepreneurs. A lot of people call themselves busy. Oh, I'm flat out. I'm so busy. I have so much to do. I don't have, where's all the time gone in the day? There's not enough time in the day. I mean, put in the chat number one, Brian, the audience listening, if that sounds familiar, put it number one in the chat if it sounds like, oh my God, where's the day gone to? I didn't, I have so much to do. There's not enough time in the day. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. It's true. So many entrepreneurs have that complaint. And again, if you're a parent as well, you've got even more jobs on top of that. So how do we manage our energy during the daytime? So this is something really, really cool that I discovered not so long ago during my research. There's a guy called Clayton, and he discovered REM sleep in the 1950s. So REM sleep is our dream sleep. So what he discovered was we sleep in these cycles every single night, and there's an active period in our sleep and there's a non-active period in our sleep. Now, how he distinguished active sleep was the eyes move, and this is called rapid eye movement. This is our dream state. Okay, so he discovered that, and he discovered that this happens every 90 minutes. So he discovered there's an active and a non-active part of our sleep. Now, what's even more profound is he went on to discover, and he talks a lot about the BRAC cycle, BRAC. So this is the basic rest activity cycle, right? Basic rest activity cycle. So this 90-minute cycle that happens at nighttime when we're sleeping, it also happens during the daytime. Now, what does this mean? So we have alternative periods of rest and activity during the daytime. This is how our brain works. So this is why we can really only work in periods of just under 90 minutes. So it's this 90-minute cycle again. So we can really only work for maybe say 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and then we have to have a period of rest. And when we talk about rest can be passive and active as well. Now, I won't go down the rabbit hole because it does expand, but we have to rest, and especially for our mental rest. So we have emotional rest we need, mental rest, physical rest, all these rests that we do absolutely need. But for the entrepreneur, we're doing a lot of creative work and thinking and analyzing and concentrating. So we need to look after our mental rest. And what's happening, the science in the brain is we have sodium and potassium in our neurons that's creating this firing and wiring in our brains that creates all this neural activity that helps us, be concentrated and what have you. And when we're resting for this short period of time, it's giving that brain a rest to rebalance these potassium and sodium ions in the brain. So that's the simplest now, but it does go a little bit more deeper, but that's just a simple way of explaining how the brain works and how we get our energy back. So taking that even a 5-minute rest, and that could look like going for a little walk just to clear our brain. But when we're focused all the time, it drains us. It absolutely drains us. It zaps all our energy. And you will find the more restful periods that you take, it could be 2 minutes, it could be 10 minutes. Obviously, we like to have a long break in the afternoon. Whatever that looks like for you, this will help you to get more work done in less time and with less stress. You'll be more resilient, emotionally resilient. You'll be able to sleep better at nighttime because you have enough energy to sleep at nighttime. So being able to sleep well, I mean, I have clients who tell me, I sleep well, I sleep for 7 hours, but I still wake up exhausted. Why is that? Well, what are the areas that you're not resting in? Emotional, physical, mental, even sensory. We can be overstimulated with our mobile phones. And speaking of mobile phones, going on to the third point, many entrepreneurs are guilty, and coaches and even teenagers, for God's sake, we're addicted to our mobile phones, right? We're bringing our phones to bed with us at night time, right? I have this little saying, an acronym: don't sleep with Alan. Alan stands for artificial lights at night. So the blue light from our phone stops our melatonin, and this is our sleep hormone. So the blue light from our phone keeps our brain stimulated. It keeps us awake at nighttime. This melatonin, we absolutely need melatonin to get us asleep, but keeping us asleep during the nighttime. So you may find you fragmented sleep. And one of the biggest mistakes that we do is, if we wake up during the night, what do we do? What's the first thing that we do when we wake up during the night? We check our clocks, right, to see what time it is. But not only are we checking our clocks, we're checking the clock on the phone. So here's the phone again, right? And the phone is usually in arm's reach of us, right? Sometimes it's still on our bed, right? Or under our pillow, God forbid, right? But we've got to stop doing that, because there's the EMF conversation about that. There's the dopamine. Dopamine is an excitatory neuron in the brain. It's what keeps us addicted. There's the blue light. There's many, many reasons why we should not be bringing our phone into the room. If you have to, put it on flight mode. But they're the three main, I could go on and on and on, catching on, I love this topic, but I really think that if we embrace sleep and rest as well, because we need to rest. People get confused with rest and sleep. People think resting is sitting down, having a nap. It can be that as well. That's passive rest. But we need to rest in all these areas in order to utilize our sleep so that we can sleep well. So that can do all the recovery processes, including cleaning out the brain at nighttime, so that we can show up at our best for the next day and then start the next day on a fresh note. So I hope that helped.
No, I love that. So just to recap, we've got the golden hour in the morning to no cell phone, do a little meditation, do some intention setting, take a walk, have your coffee, but don't allow people to steal your time from you. Then we have the afternoon where, don't think that just because you're going to throw more hours at it, you're going to be more productive. So take breaks, take a little bit of a walk, make sure that you're resting. And then in the evening, get your phones away from you. Stop taking them to bed. Turn the TV off a little earlier than you usually would, to allow your brain to settle down a little bit. Read a book or do something like that to unwind, maybe journal. And you will get more sleep. And I think that the biggest thing that I took away from this all is that sleep is not just a nighttime activity. Sleep and rest are a 24/7 kind of conversation. And if we take it more seriously, we'll be more productive. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And look, when people say, I only need 4 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep, some people wear it as a badge of honor, but really create this new relationship with sleep. And yeah, like mind what you're doing during the daytime. It's a lifestyle thing, and it's a skill that we're building that will help us sleep better at nighttime. So they both work in harmony together, so really utilize that, really understand that, and embrace it. Yeah.
I love this because every entrepreneur knows that time is their biggest resource, and productivity and using their time wisely. So the more that I can learn how to hack my time and how to get more productive with the time that I have, so I can get more done in a shorter span, I'm willing, I'm all on board. So I love these, because really they're productivity hacks at the end of the day, as well as health hacks and just better overall mood and energies. So Joanne, thank you so much for these 3 tips. I think you do have a free gift for us today.
Yes, I do. I have a downloadable 20 techniques so that you can sleep better. And these are things that you can do. So they're ideas. And look, not every single one of them is going to suit everybody. That's why there's 20 tips. So there will definitely be something there that will suit somebody. So yeah, so take them away and practice them. Start practicing tonight, whatever works for you.
That's amazing. So when we take sleep a little bit more seriously, maybe you can tell us a success story of, one of your clients that maybe took on some of these some of these tools and tips, and like how they improved, or what changes they made.
Yeah, I had a great one. So there was a guy called Daniel, and I mean I laugh at this now. The two of us laugh at this now, right? And what Daniel used to do, he had terrible trouble sleeping. I mean he was so desperate to get asleep. Do you know what he did? He used to run a 5K run, a jog late in the evening time to make himself exhausted. But that was the worst thing that he could have done, because now he had adrenaline running through his body. His core body temperature was up, because temperature is a very important thing for sleep. The temperature has to be has to be lower. This is part of the circadian rhythm. Temperature has to be lower for the onset of sleep. So he had adrenaline, cortisol, all of this. Now he's wired and tired, right? And he can't get asleep. And he's wondering why. So it was just one simple thing that he changed in his routine. So he does that run in the morning time now. And now he's finding he's sleeping. Like it's like, oh my God, Joanne, like just a time change thing, like, one simple little thing. And he's sleeping so much better now. So that was crazy, but it was great to discover. So yeah.
That's amazing. And we do have a question in the chat. Donna asked, does snoring affect restful sleep?
Yeah, that
Now,
is
I
a
don't know if
great
she means somebody else snoring or you snoring. So like yourself. So maybe you can answer both ways.
Both, yeah. So if you have a partner that snores, well, and you don't snore, well, you're losing 1 hour of quality sleep, because it's disrupting your sleep, right? And I don't know about you, but when my husband was snoring, I was like, I used to elbow him and everything, right? And I'd get really frustrated. And there's him sleeping, sounding like a baby, right? And there's me going, Arr! And I was getting annoyed. So there's all that going on as well, right? Now, for the person who is snoring, um, the person who is snoring, so the severity of the snoring is not something to be ignored. Okay, there could be a potential of sleep apnea, and sleep apnea is something that is very misunderstood, and it's not diagnosed an awful lot. And there's a lot more people now being diagnosed with sleep apnea. It is a medical condition, so you need to see your doctor for that. You can use a CPAP machine and what have you. Sometimes you can just use a brace that helps to open up the airways a little bit. Sometimes it could just be a matter of losing weight. But there are ways that you can. And look, if we go back to the caves, if you snored and a tiger heard you snoring, right, you were dead meat. So we actually never snored. It's only now in the lifestyle that we're living that there's, that's causing us to snore. So it's interesting. But if you do suspect loud snoring, if it's interrupting your sleep, I'd certainly have a look at going to the doctor to look at that further.
Perfect. Yeah, because sleep apnea that's no joke. My brother-in-law has that. So, I mean, that's basically you're stopping breathing. So,
Yeah,
but
you're
and
stopping the
and it's
extra
true.
oxygen. You're stopping the
Yeah.
oxygen getting into your brain, and this is why you have brain fog the next day as well. And the brain absolutely needs oxygen to function. So yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. Don't ignore it.
Perfect. All right. Well, Joanne, thank you so much for being here. I personally can't wait to go to Dublin and see you hopefully in August. And I haven't been over for quite a little while, so it's time to go home. And yeah, we'll leave it there. We have up next, we have Jana Nixa, how to sell without selling, the art and science of effortless enrollment. And she is up next. And Joanne, thank you very much. Are there any final words, any final stories, any final tips and tricks that you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, I just say to people, look, sleep is your superpower. It really is. Right? These are all the entrepreneurial words, right? So really embrace it and use it as your superpower. Is your greatest asset. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks, Katrin. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Thanks, Troy.
Thank you for joining us on another session of the Wealthy Healers and Coaches Conference. And at the end of the day, Shiraz will be doing energetic magic on the attendees. For recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP gift bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you have any questions or problems during the event, please email our support team at support@entrepreneursrocketfuel.com. Stay tuned, we have another fantastic speaker coming right up.